You're doing everything right, you're loyal, you're caring, you show up, you think that makes you a good man, and it does. But here's the problem. Being a good man isn't enough to make her respect you. In fact, it might be the very reason she doesn't. Because while you're busy trying to prove you're good, you've forgotten how to be powerful. And women don't respect goodness without strength. They don't respect comfort without challenge. They respect the man who doesn't need their validation to stand tall. In this video, I'll break down 3 behaviors that quietly drain your power and make her stop seeing you as a man she can follow. And once you understand them, you'll never confuse being nice with being respected again. You think you're being kind, you think you're keeping the peace. Every time she asks you to change your plans, skip a night with your friends, or agree to something you don't want, you tell yourself it's not a big deal, it's just love. But every yes you give when your heart says no quietly erases you from her respect. The man who never says no believes he's earning affection. What he's really doing is training her, subconscious, to see him as predictable, pliable, safe, and eventually invisible. When you stop saying no, you stop being a man in her eyes. You become her shadow, not her pillar. At first, she appreciates your compliance. It feels flattering, even comforting, that you prioritize her so much. But soon, that comfort turns to contempt. Because deep down, she doesn't want to be with someone she can control. She wants to feel your strength, your ability to stand firm when she pushes. That's what makes her feel safe. That's what earns her respect. You might think, but I'm just trying to make her happy. The truth, you're doing it to avoid conflict. You fear that standing up for yourself means losing her. But women don't respect men who orbit around, and them. They respect men who stand their ground, even when it costs them comfort. Every time you surrender your boundaries, she feels it. It's subtle. Her tone shifts. Her energy pulls away. She stops looking at you the same way. Not because she wants to hurt you, but because something primal in her says, I can't trust this man to lead. She tests your limits not to break you, but to see if you can hold your frame. And if you collapse every time she pushes, she'll stop pushing because she's already lost faith in your spine. So what should you do? Start saying no, not with anger, not with apology, but with calm certainty. I can't tonight. That doesn't work for me. Let's do it another time. You don't need to over-explain. You don't need to soften it with guilt. Strength doesn't shout. It just stands. Set boundaries and protect them like they're sacred. Because they are. They're not walls to keep her out. They're foundations that keep both of you steady. When she sees that you can hold your ground with composure, something changes in her eyes. She feels safe again. And here's the paradox most men never learn. The moment you stop trying to make her happy, you start making her respect you. You say sorry without even realizing it. She bumps into you. Sorry, she has a bad day. Sorry, she's moody for no reason. Sorry again. You're apologizing for things you didn't cause, can't control, and shouldn't carry. And the irony, the more you say sorry, the less she respects you. You've been told your whole life that apologizing shows empathy, that it makes you a good man, but over-apologizing doesn't read as kind, it reads as weak. Every unnecessary apology whispers insecurity. It tells her, I don't want to upset you, I'll take the blame just to keep the peace. What you don't realize is that peace built on fear isn't peace at all, it's submission, and a woman can feel that. She might not say it, but her body reacts, her tone hardens. Her attraction fades because she's no longer looking at a man standing in his truth. She's looking at someone trying to survive her emotions. There's a story I've seen too, many times. A man who starts every conversation with sorry. Sorry for being late. Sorry for disagreeing. Sorry for having an opinion. At first, his girlfriend finds it sweet, but sweetness without backbone turns sour. One day, she looks at him and says what she's felt all along. I can't respect someone who's always walking on eggshells. That sentence hits harder than any. Break up because deep down you know she's right. You've been trying to apologize your way into being loved. But love doesn't come from guilt, it comes from presence. And presence requires confidence. Here's the truth. Every sorry you don't owe is a small act of self-betrayal. You're teaching her that your role in the relationship is to absorb the emotional weight, hers and yours. That's not partnership, that's emotional servitude. You don't need to stop apologizing altogether. You need to recalibrate when it's truly necessary. Before you say sorry, pause and ask yourself, did I actually do something wrong, or am I just trying to manage her emotions? If it's the latter, stop. Replace it with calm action. If she spills her drink, don't say sorry. Say, let me grab a towel. If she's frustrated with work, don't whisper, I'm sorry you're stressed. Instead, hold eye contact and say, that sounds rough. Want to talk about it? Do you see the difference? One energy apologizes for existing, the other leads. One seeks permission, the other offers stability. And here's the key. Stop filling silence with guilt. Learn to stand still in uncomfortable moments. Your presence doesn't need justification. The man who can hold silence without folding is the one she instinctively respects. You don't need to apologize for breathing. You just need to breathe like a man who belongs in the room. He used to have a mission, a purpose, a vision that made him wake up early, push harder, move with intent. Then he met her, and slowly, without even noticing, she became the mission. At first, it feels beautiful, romantic even. You cancel plans for her, skip your workout, forget the things that once made you feel alive. You tell yourself it's love. That sacrifice is proof of commitment, but that's not devotion, that's self-erasure. When a man starts orbiting around a woman, he abandons his gravity, and without gravity, everything falls apart. His discipline, his drive, his respect. A man without his own center eventually becomes emotionally homeless, living through her moods, her validation, her approval. You stop living for the thrill of your own life and start living for her reactions. If she's happy, you're okay. If she's distant, you spiral. That's not love, that's dependency disguised as affection. Here's the harsh truth. No woman can truly respect a man who disappears into her world. It doesn't make her feel closer to you. It makes her feel responsible for you. And nothing kills attraction faster than emotional babysitting. Women are drawn to men who are in motion, men who have direction. When you lose that, she feels it on a primal level. Her instincts scream, this man can't protect me. He needs me to keep him together. And the moment she feels that, she starts to pull away. You think she's being cold. You think she's lost interest. But really, she's responding to a law of nature. No woman can respect a man who's abandoned himself. So what do you do when you've already lost yourself? You rebuild. You reclaim your life piece by piece. Start with your routine. Get back to your gym, your hobbies, your craft. Reconnect with the parts of you that existed before her. Those aren't distractions. They're anchors. Protect your time. Have days that belong only to you. Friday, nights with your boys. Sunday mornings with your goals. Guard those moments like sacred ground. And most importantly, keep growing. Read, learn, improve. Because every new skill, every challenge, every small victory breathes life back into your masculine core. She doesn't fall for the man who worships her. She falls for the man she can look up to, the one who doesn't need her to breathe but chooses her while breathing on his own. And here's the paradox you must understand. When you stop chasing her, she starts chasing the man she met, the man who had fire in his eyes, purpose in his chest, and boundaries in his bones. A man without a life of his own isn't a man she can follow. But the moment you reclaim that life, she remembers exactly why she fell for you in the first place. She doesn't test you to destroy you. She tests you to feel safe around you. Most men don't understand this, and that's why they fail those tests miserably. When a woman pushes your boundaries, questions your choices, or gives you attitude for no clear reason, she's not trying to pick a fight. She's subconsciously asking one question. Can I trust this man to stay grounded when things get messy? Every woman on some instinctive level needs to know that her man won't collapse under emotional pressure. It's not about dominance, it's about safety. Because if you can't stay centered when she storms, how will you stay steady when life does? Here's the mistake men make. They interpret those moments as attacks. They take everything personally. They get defensive, explain, justify, apologize, overreact, and in doing so, they prove exactly what she feared, that his emotions are reactive, not controlled. You see, women don't lose respect because you fail. They lose respect because you can't regulate your response. Your calmness, or lack of it, tells her everything about your strength. When she throws a little chaos your way, it's not because she hates you, it's because she wants to feel your energy. She wants to see if you can hold space for both of you when emotions rise. When you do, she relaxes. When you don't, she hardens. Let's put it simply. If you crumble every time she tests you, she starts managing her own safety. That's when she becomes distant, controlling, or cold. Not because she wants to lead, but because she no longer believes you can. There are two kinds of men in her world. The first one apologizes before she even finishes her sentence. He over-explains, tries to calm her down, and ends up looking like a child seeking approval. She might appreciate the effort for a while, but eventually she stops trusting his energy. The second man doesn't argue or explain. He listens, keeps his composure, speaks slowly, and stands his ground. He doesn't match her chaos, he absorbs it, steadies it, and that's when something shifts in her eyes. She exhales. For the first time, she feels safe. She's not consciously thinking, wow, I respect him now. It's deeper than that. It's biological. Her nervous system sinks to yours. Her guard drops. She becomes softer. The truth is, women don't need to win over men. They need men who can't be easily shaken. When you remain unbothered, not cold, not passive, just centered, you're sending one powerful message. You can trust my energy. I'm not going anywhere. Every time you stand your ground calmly, you teach her how to respect you without saying a word. Because real authority isn't loud, it's quiet, it's still, and it's magnetic. You can't demand respect, but you can earn it through energy. Not through words, not through status, but through the frequency of calm strength that every woman can feel, even when you say nothing. The moment you lose control of your emotions, she feels it instantly. The moment you stop leading yourself, she stops trusting you. Respect isn't something she decides to give. It's something she instinctively offers when your presence demands it. To reclaim that presence, you don't need to fight harder. You need to return to your center. Start with silence. The ability to stay quiet in tension is one of the most underrated signs of power. When she tests you, when she's emotional, or when life throws you off balance, don't rush to fix it. Don't chase validation with explanations. Hold your composure. Let silence do the talking. A man who doesn't react immediately communicates strength on a level that words can't touch. Next, boundaries. Not as a punishment, but as a structure. A man without boundaries invites chaos. A man with clear boundaries creates trust. You don't need to announce them. You live them. You embody them in your schedule, your tone, your standards. Say what you mean what you say. If you say you'll be somewhere, be there. If you say you won't tolerate something, follow through. Boundaries aren't about control. They're about consistency, and consistency builds respect faster than charm ever could. Then reset your purpose. Ask yourself, what's the mission beyond her? Because if she's the center of your world, you've already lost the gravitational pull that once made you magnetic. Your life must orbit something larger: growth, legacy, self-mastery. The deeper your purpose runs, the more naturally she aligns with it. A man walking his path doesn't need to prove his worth, he radiates it. Finally, emotional sovereignty. Learn to separate her mood from your own. If she's upset, don't mirror her energy. If she's distant, don't panic. Stay steady. You're not responsible for her emotional weather. You're responsible for your own temperature. This is what women deeply crave but rarely articulate. A man who doesn't get swept into their storms. When you stay grounded, she feels grounded. When you remain calm, she opens up because she can finally exhale around you. You'll notice it the way she looks at you differently, the way her tone softens, not because you said the right thing, but because you became the right energy. She doesn't respect the man who explains himself. She respects the man who doesn't need to. When you become the center of your world again, her orbit shifts back to you. Because leadership isn't about control, it's about gravity. The stronger your pull, the less you have to chase. Respect grows in space, not in control. The more you try to prove your worth to a woman, the faster she starts to doubt it. Because every effort to convince her is an unconscious confession that you don't believe it yourself. Men lose respect not because they're weak, but because they start performing strength instead of living it. You over-explain, you argue, you justify, you chase validation through logic and persuasion. But respect isn't earned in words, it's earned in restraint. A man who truly knows his value doesn't need to fight for acknowledgement. He understands something powerful. Silence is proof, presence is proof. The way you stand, breathe, and handle tension speaks louder than any declaration ever could. Here's the paradox. When you stop chasing respect, you get it. Because what you're really chasing isn't her validation. It's relief from your own insecurity. When you let go of that chase, she feels your shift instantly. Your energy changes from please choose me to I already chose myself. That's the energy women respect. Not the loud kind, not the controlling kind. The calm, untouchable kind that says, you can stay or go. Either way, I remain. Think about the men women can't forget. The ones who linger in their minds long after things end. It's not the most charming man. It's the one who was unfazed. The one who didn't beg for closure. The one who didn't crumble when she withdrew. His calmness haunted her because it revealed something she couldn't manipulate. True inner security. Detachment isn't indifference. It's power under control. It's knowing you don't need to control the outcome to remain whole. Stop trying to fix her mood. Let her feel what she needs to feel. Stop trying to win every argument. Let silence be your final word. The moment you stop reacting to every emotional spark, you start commanding the entire fire. And here's the truth. That flips the script completely. A woman respects the man who can walk away from her without resentment. The one who can love her deeply, but never at the expense of himself. That's masculine balance, the fusion of care and control. When you stop proving your worth, she starts noticing it. When you stop chasing her peace, she starts craving your presence. Because now you've become the rarest thing in her world, a man who's already enough. Respect isn't given when you chase it. It's given when you no longer need it, because the man who doesn't need respect from others has already earned it within himself. And that kind of power, it doesn't shout, it doesn't explain, it simply stands, and the world rearranges around it. You don't lose her respect overnight. You lose it one small compromise at a time. One yes you didn't mean. One apology you didn't owe. One piece of yourself you quietly traded away in the name of keeping her happy. But here's the beautiful thing about respect. It can be rebuilt. It begins the moment you stop betraying yourself. When you start saying no where your soul screams no. When you stop apologizing for existing. When you reclaim the parts of your life that make you who you are. That's when something shifts. Not just in her, but in you. Because this isn't really about her. It's about you remembering your own value before anyone else does. A woman can only respect a man who respects himself first. And that kind of self-respect doesn't come from control or bravado or performance. It comes from inner peace. You can't demand respect. You have to embody it. You have to walk into every room like you belong there. Not because you're trying to prove something, but because you finally stop trying to prove anything at all. Every time you hold your boundary, every time you breathe instead of react, every time you choose purpose over approval, you strengthen that quiet power that makes the world respond differently to you. So here's your call to action. Not to chase her, not to change her, but to return to yourself. Start today. Stop saying yes when you mean no. Stop apologizing for taking up space. Stop living for her emotions. And start leading your own life again. Respect is not something you demand, it's something you embody. If this message hits you, don't just watch, transform, subscribe, leave a comment, share this with a man who's forgotten who he is. Because somewhere, out there, another man is losing himself, one compromise at a time, and he needs to hear that it's not too late to come back home. Every man deserves to be respected. But it starts here with you